What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. How is everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a good Saturday. Yes, it's an international break. You know what it always is with an internationals break? This happens all the time, doesn't it? When it comes to like the transfer window and the summer transfer window, is that you get so excited, or you just get like a taste. You just get a little taste, don't you? At the start of the season, you're like, oh, I'm really glad the Premier League's back and my club's playing again. It's really exciting. And then the transfer window closes and you get a signing like Cristiano Ronaldo. You're like, oh, great, Cristiano Ronaldo, yes. And you're so excited and you can't wait. And then you have to wait. You have to wait a week. It's like, oh, curses making us wait so long. But there still is loads to talk about. There's still loads to talk about when it comes to Manchester United. Not necessarily transfer news. There's a little bit. There is a little smidge of transfer news that we will talk about today. The thing is, once the transfer window closes, you kind of get to that point where it's sort of like, well, in January, maybe something will happen, or next year. It's very sort of long term. It's very long term, but we will touch on it because these things tend to rumble on and tend to bubble on. We are going to be talking about Ronaldo, of course. He has demanded trophies, according to some reports. I do want to touch on Jadon Sancho as well, because just before I was about to go live, I saw the news about Jadon Sancho pulling out of the England squad with an injury. They're saying it's a minor knock, but we'll talk about that as well. And what I do want to talk about, I want to challenge myself today, guys. I want to challenge myself because I want to talk about some of the punditry that we have seen over the course of the last 7 days. And I want to do so without slowly morphing into a deranged rant, because that's not the kind of guy I am. So I'm going to challenge myself to do that in this video. But I feel like I might fail in that one. Nevertheless, as Flex always likes to say, when you walk into the house, take your shoes off, smash a like on the video. Let me know where you're watching from today as well. I really enjoy seeing everyone where they're watching from. It always blows my mind that I'm just here talking to a camera and a microphone, and there are people all around the world watching. So let me know, and we'll shout you out in the free seats as well. But first, I do want to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. Some of the people. VK says, wow, Owen, from a rainy Bangkok this evening. Unfortunate. Where I am today, this is a bit of a throwback United View, talking about the weather. Where I am, it's just a bit grey. We're getting into autumn now, guys, aren't we? Summer's over. Is it officially? I don't know when the cut-offs are, but summer's officially over right now. It's going into autumn, which is my favourite time of the year. I'm a very autumnal guy, I must say. Palmyra says watching from Leicester. Bienvenue says Melbourne, Australia. Oh, this is why I love this. I absolutely love this. Harold says Oslo. G421 says South Africa. Andreas says first time watching from Norway. Nottinghamshire, David Lee. We've got Saudi Arabia in there as well. Awesome. This is just awesome. Absolutely amazing. I just love it always blows my mind. Even though it's the internet, you can watch anything from anywhere, and it is YouTube, but it's crazy. Singapore as well. Amazing. I just love it. I love the community that's growing here at United View. It's just great. It's so great. It's such a great community, and everyone gets involved, and everyone gets to share their opinions. It's awesome. I love it. So we are going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo first. Now, according to The Sun, which I know people are going to go, ugh, me too. But according to The Sun, a report's come out this morning that says Cristiano Ronaldo, who of course is back in the UK, travelled back yesterday, we'll touch on that in a second, has already been in touch with his new teammate Bruno Fernandes, telling him to inform the dressing room that they need, and that's the quote, need to win the Premier League this season. Now, reportedly, this will be music to Bruno Fernandes' ears, who has already made it clear that the club must start winning trophies. So Ronaldo is demanding trophies. Ronaldo is planting that message into the dressing room, even though he hasn't met everyone yet. He's already going into the dressing room saying, guys, we're not accepting anything less but the title this season, or that's what I want, that's what I demand. And when I saw this report this morning, when I saw this story rather this morning, I was glad to see it. Truly, I was glad to see it, because there's been a lot of discussion, hasn't there, since Ronaldo signed about what can he really offer, and can he get Manchester United to a title, or can he get Manchester United to winning trophies? Is it just a bit of a homecoming kind of situation? Is it just I'm towards the end of my career, I'm going to smile and wave while they parade me around Old Trafford and all that kind of stuff? Is that what it's going to be? And you've seen me on the channel numerous times and on social media as well, at Mr. OWEN. Give me a follow. And United View TV, we're over 10,000 followers now too. I've said several times that Ronaldo isn't coming back for a novelty. He's not. People can write him off, and again, we'll talk on pundits, but people can write him off, and people can say, oh, he's not going to win Manchester United the title, or he's not going to win Manchester United trophies. I don't know whether he is or he isn't. We did the transfer deadline stream the other day, and in my heart of hearts, I just don't know if I see us winning the league this season. I would hope, and I think we will be closer. I think we're better suited to knockout football, whether that's the Champions League, the FA Cup, or the Carabao Cup. If we win the Carabao Cup this season only, yes, it's a trophy, but people are still going to be saying you've got Cristiano Ronaldo in your team. But this is what I was saying before, is that Ronaldo's not just coming back for the big paycheck. He took a pay cut, but he's still got the biggest contract in Premier League history. But he's not just coming back just to be like, yeah, I'm back. It's all for the brand. CR7, I've got my shirt number back. That's it. He's coming back to win things. That's the situation. He's coming back because he wants trophies. This guy is one of the most determined and driven footballers of all time. The fact that he's 36, right? Midweek, 36, he's breaking records. He's winning the game for his country against Ireland. Was he totally involved in the game? No. But he scored 2 goals. He missed a penalty as well, but he scored 2 goals. He broke the record. He's the highest male international football goal scorer ever, not just Portugal, ever in the history of football. He broke that record. So of course he's beyond determined. So if I expect that attitude, and that's the attitude that we need at Manchester United for so long. There's been a group of players, and I don't really point it at this dressing room that we have right now, because I do think the mentality is shifting at Manchester United, certainly in the dressing room with people like Bruno Fernandes. But for a period of time after Sir Alex, there was this dressing room that was just content being Man United, and this expectation that all the trophies and all the adulation and the accolades came with it. And it doesn't work like that. When you're a Manchester United player, yes, you have the badge and you have the honour and you have the respect, but you still have to earn it. And you still have to earn the respect of going out to win things. Just because you're Manchester United isn't enough. You need that mentality. And that's kind of the things that we don't really talk about when it comes to Ronaldo. Yes, obviously we're having the guy that can score loads of goals. Yes, we're having the brand and the image, but it's that kind of intangible stuff, that just mentality, desire to win. First in the training ground, last to leave, consistently working on himself, even at the age of 36, even after everything he's achieved throughout his career, and he still is just chomping at the bit to win things, because he always, and he shouldn't, but he always has a point to prove. He always has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to be the best. And the older that he gets, and the more that he has these just bizarre pundits writing him off for no reason apart from he's 36 years old, he's like, right, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to absolutely prove you wrong. And you have to remember as well, he comes from a dressing room under Sir Alex. He comes from a dressing room where failure wasn't an option. It wasn't tolerated. Mediocrity, no thank you. It's leagues, it's Champions Leagues, it's any other trophy, it's individual accolades, it's everything. Otherwise, that's failure. And it's that kind of mentality we haven't had for a long time at Old Trafford. Absolutely. Super chat from Mike Hill says, Ronaldo will bring the Fergie mentality. Well, exactly. And there aren't enough of that. I think one of the reasons why I think a lot of people have really, latched onto Bruno Fernandes isn't just because of what he's brought in terms of goals and assists. That's unquestionable. But I think what everyone has really, again, latched on when it comes to Bruno Fernandes is his mentality, his drive. I want to see my players upset if they're not winning the game. I want to see my players frustrated that they themselves haven't scored goals or done assists or whatever. I don't want to see, I don't want to sound like Roy Keane here, but I don't want to see players after the game of losing 3-0 and then talking to their friends, oh, well, you're going out afterwards. Oh, I'll speak to you in the dressing room. Do you want my shirt? No. I want you to be angry. I want you to be frustrated. This is about winning and losing. It's about being remembered for being a winner and winning titles. And when it comes to the end of your career, saying, look at all of these titles, team and individual accolades that I have at my disposal. I did that. With my team because we were winners. We weren't content to finish third and all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, I think we have to be realistic as well. I think we have to be realistic in the sense that, because this is kind of the conversation when it comes to sort of United and trophies and all that kind of stuff, because we were talking about this on the deadline day stream the other night, in that the question was, if Ollie doesn't win a trophy this season, does he get the sack? And my answer was no. The reason I say no is because I think there's a lot of things that go into that, because let's face it, if Ollie finished second this season and was 3 points off the top, but didn't win a trophy, he'd keep his job. If Ollie finished third this season but got to a Champions League semi-final or final, he would keep his job. Not necessarily saying that I agree with that. I know people that don't like Ollie or don't rate him will say, well, he needs to go irrespective of all that kind of stuff, but I think other things go into that. And then the counterpoint to that always is, how low have United standards fall? That we're just accepting top four and we accept mediocrity now. And I think that's a fair point. But I do think the counter argument to that is, yes, the standards have fallen, but that's because look at the damage that's been done to the club post-Fergie. That first Moyes season and just the handover of losing the manager and losing the chief executive, David Gill, and then turning it into Ed Woodward, clown shoes, and David Moyes. And just everything that happened with that was so damaging to the club. And then we went through a couple of other managers. And, when you hear those stories about we've got a recruitment team that's made up of like 3 different or 4 different reigns of managers. You've still got people from the David Moyes era, from the Louis van Gaal era, from the Jose Mourinho era, and now from the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. It's kind of just a mishmash of stuff. And there isn't a lot of continuity. So yes, through that period of time, standards fell. Now, myself personally, I think signing someone like Ronaldo, as it was mentioned in the chat, does kind of bring those standards back up because he just won't accept it. He just won't accept mediocrity. And that's great. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic because that's what he needs to do. That's what we need to do at Manchester United. We can't accept mediocrity anymore. With the squad that we have right now, we have to be challenging. Of course we do. We have to be challenging for something, whether it's the league or, again, whether it's the Champions League or whatever it is. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has the excuse this season of, well, we don't have that defensive midfielder. To me, that might be the reason we don't win the league, because I think if we did have a great holding midfielder, maybe it would be 6 points more. And maybe that would be enough to get us over the line to maybe challenge for a title or even win it. But I just don't think it's a good enough excuse not to be challenging, put it that way. It might be the reason we don't win the title, but it's not a good reason to say, well, we couldn't challenge this season because we didn't have Declan Rice, or we couldn't challenge this season because we didn't have any of these defensive midfielder options that we wanted. No, that's not true. That's not true. Look at the attacking options we have. Ronaldo, Cavani, Greenwood, Rashford, Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, Anthony Martial, even the people that just aren't going to play, like people like Jesse Lingard. I mean, the list goes on and on. We've still got Ahmad at the club. I mean, with those attacking options, you have to be challenging because that squad and those attacking options are enough to win games. Then you put into the effect our defence that has now Varane in it. You've got Shaw, Varane, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka. That's a strong defence. Yes, I know there are issues when it comes to defence midfielder, but it's not an excuse not to challenge for me this season. It might be the reason we don't win the league, but it's not a reason not to challenge. So that's kind of my feeling on that. But I'm glad to see that kind of mentality is what Ronaldo is bringing. Not that that's much of a revelation, because I think a lot of people expected him to bring that kind of mentality, to be honest with you, right? I mean, of course he brings that mentality. It's Cristiano Ronaldo, for goodness sake. All right? That's just the case. Interesting to see what the live chat always says. Always. People are saying donuts because of the strong at the back, strong at the front, hole in the middle, right? I get it. Antonio9 says, we tried superstar managers before. They don't understand Manchester United like Ollie does. Don't be fooled by mainstream media. Ollie should win a trophy now. Last few years, couldn't compete. I think that's probably fair. And I think that's... this is something we spoke about the other day as well, in that I know a lot of people would say, get rid of Ollie, or he's not good enough and he's not up to the level of other coaches. I think saying that he maybe isn't up to the level of other coaches might be fair. But realistically, this is what I always bring up as well. At what point during Ollie's tenure, realistically, has there been a reason where you go, yeah, he should be sacked because of that? There really isn't one. People can go, well, we didn't win the Europa League last season, but we qualified for the Champions League, we finished second. Yes, we were miles off it. Yes, we would have liked the trophy, but that's not enough reason to sack. That's not enough reason to sack the manager because he came second in the league and he got to a final of a European Cup. Again, I know people go, how low have our standards dropped? But they have. They have, because we haven't won anything in a while. We haven't won the league in 8 years or something like that. Of course the standards have dropped. It's now about bringing people in like Ronaldo that can bring them back up. That's the situation. That's just the situation. Hitesh says the link up between defence and the attack is not good. If we had a proper CDM, we would have won the league hands down. Well, again, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right this season. I just don't think it's a reason not to challenge. And I mentioned this before. It's up to a manager. It's up to a coach. And this is where really the best managers stand out is they see what they have at their disposal, and make no mistake about it, Ollie has a lot at his disposal. It's about finding options and solutions. Okay, I didn't get my central defence midfielder this season. Who do I think I can coach up or I can put in that role and still thrive? And it's not Fred. Sorry, it's not Fred. But there must be someone. Scott McTominay could do that. Or, heaven forbid, we try a different formation, right? We go, okay, what players do I have at my disposal? I don't really have that CDM that I would have wanted. Maybe I change things up. Maybe I go to a 4-3-3. Maybe I go to a back three and flood out the midfield with like a 3-5-2 or something like that to get both Cavani and Ronaldo into the side. I mean, there are options. We're not stuck to this 4-2-3-1 situation. There are options. Whether or not Ollie would try them, but I think that's where the best managers separate themselves. Antonio Conte won a league title because he switched to a back three after losing a game against Arsenal. You know, he was so embarrassed that he went, oh, I've got to switch to a back three. But you know what I mean? That's where the best coaches really differentiate themselves from each other. They try different things. They find solutions. And I think that's maybe where Ollie might come unstuck this season. I do want to talk about pundits. The reason I want to talk about pundits is because I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of just crazy takes. And I get it, right? I get that's the media. And I get that, you know, if you talk about Manchester United in a paper or on a website, you get clicks because Manchester United are one of the most searched clubs in the world, or one of the biggest clubs, arguably the biggest club in the world. So you talk about Manchester United, you talk smack about them, it gets more headlines. Or you talk negatively about Manchester United, it gets more headlines than talking positively about Manchester United. But it just feels, at this point, like it's getting ridiculous. At this point, it's just getting silly. Today, Paul Merson, he did a column with the Daily Star. And I like Paul Merson, by the way. I think he's quite an entertaining pundit. I like him on Soccer Saturday. But he did a column with the Daily Star. And he said, is this about being successful or is it about making money off Ronaldo's name? He then said, Juventus brought Ronaldo in to win them the Champions League. They never looked like winning it and didn't even win Serie A last season. People say, oh, he scored more goals than Romelu Lukaku. Yeah, but who won the league? Call me a pessimist. I am pessimist. Call me a pessimist, but I don't think United would have even tried to sign Ronaldo if Manchester City hadn't come in for him first. They just didn't want him coming to City. Maybe that last bit's a little bit true. Maybe that is the last bit true, that I think we would have been maybe a little bit more, well, we'll debate it. Well, maybe a little bit more hesitancy. I don't know, if the whole City thing hadn't happened. But again, it's this narrative that Ronaldo can't do it anymore. It's in the same week that he broke the record for being the highest male international goal scorer ever. And they're still writing him off. And they'll look at Juventus last season, they'll go, Juventus didn't win the league last season, so how great was Ronaldo? I know he was the top goal scorer. You've null and voided your argument there. Because if it's any other player and they were the top goal scorer, but their team didn't win the league, you'd be saying, what a great signing, what a great striker. But because it's Ronaldo, or not even that, just because it's Manchester United, go, I'm not sure about that. Yes, Juventus didn't win the league last season, but they'd won it how many years before that? 9? Something like that. 2 of which Ronaldo had been there that time and was still scoring goals, and they won the league. Yeah, so it's like, what do you want? What do you want out of all of that? Oh, you want sheer perfection, then Manchester United can sign him. And it goes back to this point of this weird double standard that we're seeing about Ronaldo and about Manchester United right now, of just like, if Man City did sign Ronaldo, it would have been a good signing. But when it's Man United, it isn't. And I don't mean to dunk on Trevor Sinclair because I think he's got a lot of stick on social media the last couple of days, but I think it is worth pointing out, it must be said. So I've seen some good stories about Trevor Sinclair, and by all accounts, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and I'm not attacking him by any stretch of the imagination, but I just think it needs to be pointed out. So these sort of images did the rounds on social media a couple of days ago. And these are the quotes. When Ronaldo was being linked with City, like 24 hours before he signed for United, and he was going to City, there was a verbal agreement. City can deny that it wasn't the case of, we weren't interested in him. We were never interested. Cristiano who? CR what? We were never interested in Ronaldo. Never in a million years. We're happy with what we got. That is a load of rubbish, and everyone knows it is, but City have to try and remain and have some kind of image here. Anyway, When he was linked to City and he was going to sign for City, or it looked very likely that Ronaldo was going to go to City, this was what Trevor Sinclair said. Quote, Ronaldo is exactly what Man City have been looking for. This could go a long way in getting City over the line in the Champions League. Of all the number 9s available, though it will cost a few quid, he's worth taking. Right, that's one day. That's one day, okay? That's one day when he's saying that absolutely he's exactly what City have been looking for. He'll win them the Champions League. He's worth taking. Just a few days later, we get, quotes, the intensity is unbelievable in the Premier League and Ronaldo's legs will tire. Ronaldo won't be able to play every game and be a top drawer every game. And it then goes on to say that Ronaldo should not be guaranteed or expected to start every game for Manchester United this season. And it's just a case of like, what is the difference there? The only difference there is Manchester United. That is the only difference. It's the club difference. And it's just a case of, I think that's where sometimes fans now have a bit of a disconnect sometimes with pundits, I think, at this point, right? They have a bit of a disconnect with pundits that we're listening less and less. Myself, I put myself in this case as a fan. You listen less and less to pundits because everyone can have opinions, right? And that's what's great about channels like these and just, Twitter and social media in general. Is everyone has opinions and they're not wrong, right? Everyone's allowed to have an opinion. I respect that. I enjoy debating people that have different opinions to myself. I think you should surround people that have different and contrasting viewpoints to yourself because that's how you learn, that's how you grow, that's how you educate yourself, by listening to other people. There should always be a dialogue of conversation. There should always be a willingness to hear other people's opinions and learn. But when you see stuff like this where it's very obvious what the case is, that just because you're an ex-pro, it doesn't stop you talking nonsense. And it's this case of you just can't be impartial. As a fan, when I watch a broadcast or when I watch a pre-game stuff for Manchester United, I watch it to be, educated, but also I watch it to understand more about the play. These are ex-pros or ex-managers. These should be the guys that are explaining to me, they're going into this formation, or they're doing these patterns of play, or they're doing this and they're doing that. And they're the experts, right? When the experts are so willing just to change their own opinion based on one club, it null and voids any form of analysis for me. It's not punditry, it's agenda. And I think that's a massive problem right now. I think it is. And I think that's an issue. I mean, yesterday was JB O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlahor. And again, I'm sure they're nice guys. But JB O'Hara says, in the cup final, who would you rather have, Kane or Ronaldo? And Gabby Agbonlahor says, I'm having Kane. If you look at finishing, there's no one better. And it's like, what? What? Are you kidding me? There's no doubt Harry Kane's great. Man City really wanted him. Man City really wanted him. But it's the case of Ronaldo, he's won everything apart from a World Cup. But he's won everything. I'd want Ronaldo in my team in a final. And a case of Harry Kane who hasn't been in many finals, wouldn't you want that experience of someone that's been there and won like 5 Champions Leagues over someone that's been in 1 Champions League final? I'm not disagreeing that maybe Kane's, he's obviously more in his peak than Ronaldo is, even though Ronaldo's peak I think is far different. But it's just that kind of stuff that when you see that, you go, what? What? And it just what place it comes from, I think. And I see stuff like that and I just scratch your head because you watch it and you go, you can't believe that. Surely you can't actually genuinely believe that, right? Seriously? I don't know. It just, when you see stuff like that, it's just very strange. Very, very strange. Nevertheless, we'll get off of that because I did my best not to go into a complete rant and rave and scream and rip my hair out and or anything like that. This was a quote as well, which I thought was quite fun, and I think it kind of encapsulates this whole Ronaldo situation. So this comes from Ian Ladyman from the Daily Mail, his football editor for the Daily Mail. Spoke to Fabio da Silva, of course, former Manchester United player, twin brother Rafael. You had some situations where you had Fabio on the left, Rafael on the right, who of course played with Cristiano Ronaldo at Old Trafford. And I think this is the quote that really goes to show just how important Ronaldo will be to the dressing room and to the younger players. He said, quote, I love him, Cristiano Ronaldo, because he set a very big example for young boys like us. The things I took from Cristiano are for life. The players about to play with him now at Manchester United should be thankful every day. It's that kind of stuff. That is the intangible stuff. It's that kind of, again, not just goals, not just assists, and maybe some honours that come with it. It's the mentality. It's the mentality that comes with it. And we mentioned it on the thumbnail. We spoke about it earlier on. It's that desire to win trophies. It's that desire to win individual honours. It's that desire to win. And, you can say win at all costs. I don't mean breaking the rules or anything like that, but I mean just the desire just to, we're Manchester United, right? We're Manchester United. We should be winning games because that's what we do. That's what's expected of us. I think there was a great interview that Gary Neville did with Roy Keane recently, in that whole overlap thing. And he was asked, Roy Keane, they were speaking about when Roy Keane was the captain, and they said, like, Roy Keane, he was never a guy that was like, rah, 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 we're this, we're Manchester United, go out there, blah, blah, blah. He just said, like, maybe 2 or 3 times a season, I would turn around to the players and just say, remember, we're Manchester United. And that was it. That's all that needed to be said. And that's the kind of elite levels of mentality of, I don't need to fire you up because you should be fired up, but just in case you forgot, just remember who we are. Remember the badge that you're wearing. Remember the shirt that you're wearing. And remember that this is significant. And you have to, you have to wear that, and you have to manage those expectations, and you have to realize that the fans have an expectations of you to win and to have a desire to win. That's the situation there. We'll look at the free seats before we move on. SB says, you can tell the pundits are basically any anti-United fan now just as scared. It's the fear factor is back and they don't like it. RDX 200 says, what did Kane do in the UEFA Champions League final and Euros final? Nothing really. There's no doubt he's a great player, but I just think the whole idea of who would you want in a final, surely you would go with a guy that is still scoring goals and has been there. Real Madrid won the Champions League 3 years in a row. In the last couple of years, it was just because they were so experienced to do it. They could just roll through. It was like clockwork. I think that's kind of the situation. VK says, imagine our youth academy and women's side being inspired by CR7, by the CR7 presence. The intangible he brings is priceless. Exactly. I think that's kind of the real thing there. It's that, yes, we're buying CR7 the brand, and yes, we're signing Ronaldo with the goals and all that kind of stuff, but already there's just this lift, isn't there? There's this real lift and good feeling around Manchester United right now. I don't know about you. I can't remember the last time I was so excited about a Manchester United 3 o'clock kickoff at Old Trafford. Sometimes they're some of the worst games because they're very dry and they're very just, nothing really happens. United might win, but all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, but a 3 o'clock kickoff at Old Trafford against Newcastle, I've never been so excited for it. Because Cristiano Ronaldo is coming back. It's the intangible. It's that kind of just buzz that he is bringing, I think is tremendous. Now, there was a bit of discussion talking about this. There was a bit of discussion of, because it's such a significant match, would it be on the television? Would it be televised, the 3 p.m. kickoff? The answer is no, it won't be, which is just hilarious, isn't it? Like Ronaldo's big grand return, it's not even going to be on television, so you're going to have to wait till later on to the day to watch it. Obviously, here on the channel, KG is going to be doing a match for you as well, and we'll have a match reaction and all that fun stuff next week as well. So if you do want, I guess a running commentary, you'll be provided by none other than KG, which would be absolutely tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. But it isn't going to be televised. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, which, to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that we've gone back to the whole 3 p.m.s not being shown and all that kind of stuff again, because it's weird. It's kind of that phrase, isn't it? Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Because everyone used to always say, oh, there's no reason to not have games on the television. They should all be televised and all that kind of stuff, because they are in other countries, aren't they? I think they are in the United States. I don't know what the packages are like around the world. Certainly over here in the UK, they're not. And you sort of watch it sometimes and go, they should all be televised. And then once they all are televised, you kind of like, it's kind of enough. You're like, I actually would prefer maybe some games aren't televised and I can watch the highlights and all that kind of stuff, So I think that's fun. I do want to talk about Jadon Sancho. I mentioned that we were going to talk about Sancho because just before I was about to come live, the news came out that Jadon Sancho has withdrawn from the England squad due to a knock. Now, Manchester United, whilst I've been streaming here, have confirmed this. They released the following news article that said Manchester United's Jadon Sancho will miss England's remaining fixtures during this month's international break. Our summer signing was absent from the Three Lions' victory in Hungary on Thursday after it was revealed that he has sustained a slight injury in training prior to the match. The Football Association has since confirmed that Sancho will return to United to continue his recovery ahead of our Premier League outing against Newcastle next Saturday. In a statement released today, the FA have said, quote, Jadon Sancho will play no no part in England's forthcoming FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Andorra and Poland. The forward picked up a minor knock in training earlier this week, which ruled him out of the 4-0 victory in Hungary. Following further assessment, the 21-year-old has returned to his club and is expected to recover in time for Manchester United's fixture with Newcastle United on Saturday, 11th of September. Gareth Southgate now has a 23-man squad at his disposal for Sunday's match against Andorra at Wembley Stadium. So it is a knock, and he is going to miss the remaining games. But I guess the positive is that he isn't going to miss the game against Newcastle, which I think was the big concern. Always the issue with international break, isn't it, is the concern of there are always people that come back with knocks, little niggles, or just the travel. Sometimes the travel, I know it's kind of different now because obviously some of the South American players can't travel and all that kind of stuff, but just to travel alone was brutal sometimes, wasn't it? You'd have a game on like a Wednesday, not just any game, in like South America or somewhere, across the world, and then you'd have to be back you'd fly back on, say, like Thursday, and then you'd have a 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday or something like that, and it would just be brutal. And for the players, it would be tough, and for the clubs, they'd be frustrated because they're like, we want to play our strongest team and we can't because they're flying all over the place, or they pick up knocks because, let's face it, certain other countries as well maybe don't have the best setup when it comes to like Manchester United, right? Manchester United, you would hope. Our fitness department has been slandered a bit, and probably rightfully so on certain occasions, but other countries' setups may not have the facilities that Manchester United do, and the training pitches or the pitches that they play on the matches for. So you always got a chance of twisting a knee or twisting an ankle or pulling a calf or anything like that. And that's the concern you always have when you have players on international break. So I think there was a bit of concern, wasn't there, about Jadon Sancho of how bad is this knock? How bad is this knock? They haven't actually said what the knock is. They just keep saying it's a minor knock, it's a minor knock. The good news, of course, is that he isn't going to miss the Newcastle game, as far as they're saying. And the fact that they've already sent him back to the club, who'll have 7 days there with treatment, and I would assume a full week of training. We'll have to wait and see. I would still assume that he plays against Newcastle. To be honest, though, I mean, if Sancho doesn't play, or he's on the bench or whatever, the great thing about the squad that we have right now is we have options. It's not make or break. We don't have Jadon Sancho playing. What are we going to do? Of course, we would prefer that Jadon Sancho plays and we play the strongest team possible. And I think Ollie would probably prefer that as well, that he plays the strongest team possible. We blow Newcastle away and it sends a message. Of course, we would prefer that. But we have options now. Cristiano Ronaldo will start that game, I think. If he doesn't, if Ollie benches Ronaldo in his first game, social media, legitimately, I think people's phones might just explode. I think it might be a case of just go poof, like that, because social media would explode. You're not playing Ronaldo? How dare you? So I think Ronaldo will play. The good thing is, with that is, if Sancho still is kind of carrying a bit of a knock, or he doesn't do a full week of training or anything like that, put Greenwood out there. No problem. Put Mason Greenwood out to the right. When Cavani came on against Wolves and Greenwood moved out to the right, he scored a goal. Now, I think Greenwood's future is as a striker, but right now, there are people ahead of him. It's Ronaldo and it's Edison Cavani, so that's not going to happen. So that's the positive thing that we have right now. We have options, and it is a bit concerning, of course, that Sancho rather has this injury, but looks like it's going to be fine. And the FA are saying that he's going to be back for the game against Newcastle. So that shouldn't be an issue. That shouldn't be an issue at all. A couple other things I do want to touch on very briefly, and then we'll wrap things up here, because I don't want to keep you too long on your Saturday. There's another update about Jesse Lingard. I did mention that we were going to very, very slightly touch on some transfer stuff, even though the window has closed, because this is what we kind of get into now when it comes to transfers. I mean, now it's going forward, I guess it's just going to be more news, but it is kind of a situation now where when transfer stuff does come up, it's a case of, it's maybe for January, or it's something for the summer, or long-term visions and targets. So there's an update when it comes to Jesse Lingard and why he didn't leave Manchester United and why he didn't ultimately sign with West Ham United. And the website 90 Minutes is reporting that West Ham did not make a late push for Jesse Lingard in the transfer window after the player made it clear to the club he did not want to return to the London Stadium. He didn't want to go to West Ham. He wanted to stay at Manchester United. And that's kind of a similar version of everything we've kind of been hearing around Jesse Lingard, really, towards the end of the window. Is that we'd heard Ollie say, yes, he has a part to play, and he's still going to play games at Manchester United. He has a part in this squad, all this kind of stuff. And then it was a case of, I think myself and Flex and KG and DJ and everyone on the channel said, it's a case of Lingard going to Solskjaer saying, I want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to play games, so I'm going to leave. And it doesn't look like he ever did that. And because he never did that, Solskjaer sort of went, okay, I guess we might need you for Carabao Cup games or maybe some FA Cup games. But I just, again, if I'm Lingard, the reason he moved, this is why it kind of just baffles me, this whole thing, is the reason he sought out the loan to West Ham earlier this year in the first place is because he wasn't playing games. He wasn't playing games. The European Championships was on the horizon. He wanted to get into that England squad. So he knocked on the door of Solskjaer, said, I want to play games. I want to go out on loan. Solskjaer said, fine, you can. You're not playing anyway. He goes out on loan to West Ham. He's very successful. Very nearly gets into the England squad. If he'd have gone there a couple of months earlier, he would have got in that England squad. If the season was a couple of months longer, he would have got into that England squad. What has changed between now and then? Nothing. Nothing has changed. If anything, the situation's got worse for Jesse because there's more players that have come in over him, whether it's Sancho and Ronaldo. So I don't see what's changed. I really don't see what's changed. And maybe it's him thinking, right, my international career's over, but it's not, because he's in the England squad now. And I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Given that a World Cup is next year, you'd be thinking he'd be like, right, let me go to West Ham. Let me get like 18 months of good, solid first-team football under my belt. So when the time comes that he's got to name that World Cup squad, I don't give him an option. You've got to pick Jesse Lingard. That's what I just don't understand about the whole Lingard thing. The reason, what changed? And I know he has connections to the club, and I know that family are in the local area and all that kind of stuff, but he left in January because he wanted to play football, and now he said he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay at United. So does he not want to play anymore? I just find that very, very strange. Very strange. I don't want to say, I don't know if it's a lack of ambition, but we talk about Ronaldo and a mentality of I want to play, I want to win things, and it kind of is like the opposite. I'm sure Jesse Lingard wants to play and win things, but if he truly, really badly wanted to play first-team football, why wouldn't you go somewhere where you know you're wanted? Not a case of you're not wanted at United, but you know you're going to play. I just find that very, very strange. Very strange, and I can't really wrap my head around that one, it must be said. There's also a brief update when it comes to Declan Rice as well. It's been reported today that Declan Rice is fully focused on West Ham United this season, but he is open and thinking about a move next year. That's the situation. There have been rumours and discussions about possibly putting in like a release clause into his contract in a similar vein to how Jack Grealish had a release clause put into his contract and how his move to Manchester City was kind of facilitated in that kind of way. Again, this is coming from the website 90 Minutes, saying that he is committed to West Ham. West Ham have been considering offering Rice a new contract, even though his current deal runs to 2024. This is because the wages he's on right now does not represent his position and stature within the club. And Rice would be open to signing a new deal in the same vein that Grealish was open to signing a new deal last year at Aston Villa, but he would probably want a release clause in there as well. Now, West Ham have apparently this rule that they don't include release clauses in contracts. If that's the case, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters because Rice will just go, well, I won't sign a new contract then. Okay, I know I've got 2 years, or like, it'll be about 2 years, 2 and a bit years left. And he'll just sit it out. And then, because once you get to a year out, the power's already in their hands. If he goes, look, I'm not going to sign a new contract then, you're going to have to sell me because I would leave on a free, and you need the money. So I think Declan Rice's future, when it comes to a new club, might be a thing for next season. That might be something that Man United look at. Now, we know that United are interested in him, obviously. So will City. Obviously, Chelsea, there's a connection there from his youth days. Apparently, Liverpool are interested in him as well. Maybe this would be the case. Maybe this would be the case when it comes to Ollie or the club not going after that defensive midfielder this year, is because they think, you know what? Maybe they've spoken to intermediaries or people that are surrounding Declan Rice or whatever and say, you know what, things might change next year. I know that I took a bit of flack for saying this before on a stream where I said that even though we sign Ronaldo, I still think we'll go after Haaland next year, and I still think that's the priority next year. And people are like, what? No, it's not going to happen. Ronaldo and Haaland, who do you think you are? Nah, terrible. Why not? Cavani's going, and I don't think Ronaldo has changed any of those plans. I really don't. I think that Ronaldo, we know, even though he is 36, does have a shelf life, and he's probably going to be around for like 2 years, maybe 3, but I still think we'll go after Haaland, and I really, really do. I think that release clause is coming up. I know PSG might get him now because Mbappe might go to Real Madrid on a free and all that kind of stuff. That's totally true. Totally true, but I think that's the situation. I really do. Let's take a look at the free seats too. The Chronic says Lingard just wants to stay and be a joker while making money. Ouch. David Lee says Lingard was silly staying. Weeming says Lingard just wants to do TikTok videos with Ronaldo. Can you imagine? Can you think that Ronaldo would be up to that? I just can't imagine they would. I'd be so scared to go up to him. A-Bub says no ambition. G421 says CR got Jesse moving. Dumb. Chris says very foolish. So a lot of people are kind of on the same mentality there, thinking that it's very weird. I agree. It's very, very odd that Lingard ultimately decided to stay when more people came in over him. Nothing's changed. Linda says lone defensive midfielder Scott, Declan Rice, and Haaland next summer. I think they might be the options next year. I do think we might be seeing a situation where we're looking at maybe Haaland being the priority next year and Declan Rice. Time will tell. Jefferson Kaka says the only channel that reads out the free seats. Well, it's all about the community here. We always say this. You don't feel like you have to, give a super chat or whatever. Obviously, it's a great way to support the channel, and it's a great way to continue doing what we're doing. But it's all about the community here. It's all about opinions. It's all about discussion and all that kind of stuff, So, yeah, of course we read out the free seats. Of course, I'm a free seat member myself a lot of the time. So, of course, we read out the free seats. So, yeah, possibly we could be looking at a situation for Declan Rice next year. Finally, what I do want to talk about is the Champions League squad. Of course, Man United's Champions League squad was announced yesterday. That consists of, this is just for the group stage, by the way, you can change it after then. It says David De Gea, Dean Henderson, Tom Heaton, Diogo Dalot, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Eric Bailly, Rafael Varane, Harry Maguire, Alex Telles, Luke Shaw, Nemanja Matic, Scott McTominay, Fred, Donny van der Beek, like he's gonna play, Juan Mata, Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Jadon Sancho, Amad Diallo, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Edison Cavani, and one Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, some people are going, what? Greenwood, where's Greenwood? Where's Greenwood? There's no Mason Greenwood. How dare we drop him? No, don't worry. As always, homegrown players under the age of 21 qualify on the B list. They do not have to even be registered. They can be included. They're free. They're essentially free. You don't have to actively register them. So that's why Mason Greenwood is not in that list. So that's the squad. And it just seems great, doesn't it? When you see like Cristiano Ronaldo. Just look at those last few names. Pogba, Fernandes, Sancho, Amad, Rashford, Martial, Cavani, Ronaldo. Not bad. And it goes back to the original point we were talking about at the beginning of the stream here, is that maybe we don't have a defensive midfielder. Maybe that is the reason that we maybe don't win a title this season, but we should certainly be challenging. In my opinion, there's no excuse not to be challenging, I think. Now, when it comes to winning things, that's maybe a different discussion. But when it comes to challenging, I think we can absolutely challenge. Why not? We got Cristiano Ronaldo, for goodness sake. Right? Why can't we be challenging? I think that's the case. Anyway, guys, look, that's it from me today. Be sure to smash a like on the video and be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We're at how many likes right now? 193. We only need 7 more. To get to 200 likes for today's video. So be sure to smash a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I think nearly up to like 70,000 subscribers, which is insane, the growth so far. So from everyone at United View, obviously, we really, really appreciate the support so far. It's a growing channel. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy these streams. I really enjoy chatting with you guys, even if it's an international break. I really enjoy chatting with you guys. But look, guys, I'm out of here. I'll speak for you again very soon. Peace.